All right, today in Garage Mahal, we are working on a Cadillac SRX. Customer wants new tires put on, which we have, but more importantly, he was complaining about his tire sensor light being on. So last time he was here, I put his tires up to temperature, and that obviously wasn't it. So he has a bad sensor. So I'm going to show you how to replace one of those today. Using a Maxi TPMS. I kind of stumbled through this. I apologize ahead of time. One reason is because I don't use this all that often, but I mean it is a pretty great tool. Let me turn my light on there. So I'll show you basically how it works. So turn it on, and it should be starting. There we go. So this is a TS601. Now, it's got a bunch of menus. It's got an OBD2 as well, because later on we're either going to clone or we are going to go into the OBD and extract the information that we need. But anyway, go to TPMS, hit yes, Cadillac. It's going to go into the database, SRX, and it's a 2010, so it's going to be a 315 megahertz. I'll show you what that means later on. Delete existing data. Yeah, we're going to go yes, just to go fresh. So basically, you're going up to each tire and holding it, and then you're going to hit the trigger, which is this button here. And it's going to go through, and it's going to tell you which one. All right, so that sensor works. Next one's going to tell you to go to this side. So a hint is that it will pick the signal up pretty quick, and it does a lot of different things. And then I believe this is the one that's actually bad, so it's probably going to hang on here for a little bit, trying to get the data, which it's not going to be able to. Oh, and along came a spider. Anyway, so if it's taking a long time, it's obviously not working, and this is going to be your dead sensor that's in here. So a little bit longer. I wish this process was a little bit faster, but it's probably trying to do everything it can to find that sensor information. And these are 18-inch tires they have on these Cadillacs. And I'm just talking to fill the time while this thing goes through its motions. I know, it's boring, but it's part of the process. Okay, so it's acknowledged that that's a bad sensor. So we're going to basically go on to the next one. And now instead of auto going, you're going to have to manually tell it to go. And then hit trigger again. Alright, so we know it's going to be the back right rear tire that's the sensor's bad on. So we're going to actually do that tire first, and I'll be back in a moment after I get the tire off, and I'll show you how to do this. Alright, so on this you need like a T10. Those are those weird little star doohickeys. And preparing this for the video, I actually snapped the head off of this. So anyway, that's your sensor. You just wiggle that, and then that part comes out, and then you're going to have to pull this little piece out, which you need a little persuasion, little tire tool, put on the valve, and sometimes these pull out pretty easy, sometimes they do not, and this one is not going to. Let me use a little block of wood, is typically what I do. If they don't come out that easy. I mean, you can soap them up and everything, but you put this on the rim and you can kind of pull it out. There we go. And it pulled the inside out. So we're still stuck with that little ball doohickey thing there, but that's okay, because this is a repair video and we always like to make repairs. So then I usually get a needle nose plier, and then you can pull out what's left of that. Okay, and then these are sensors I like to use. They're the MK sensor, dual signal, or megahertz, or whatever you want to call it. 315 and 433. So there's no guesswork. You're basically right 100% of the time. So sorry about dropping that. So now we're going to go back into powering this back on. And I'll probably fast forward through this part of the video. Okay, so we're going to go back to this sensor. I think it's hit yes. Okay, so it shows it's failed. Okay, end to exit. So now we are going to go to the MX sensor. And, okay, so we're going to go copy by activation. So we're just going to put this in here to see if it actually copies or not. And you kind of put it in there if it fits. And then you hit yes. And then you hit yes here. See, I'm caught in the loop again. See how infrequently I use this thing? But anyway. Alright, so. Nope. Nope. So we're going to go MX sensor. Right rear, copy by activation, yes, to get your ID. Okay, so it's not letting me do that. I didn't read that before. So basically, we're going to have to go to the next option, is copy by OBD2. So we're going to have to hit that. Go into diagnostic. Sensor information. All right. TPMS diagnostics. Okay, so that was the feature. Sorry I'm bouncing around on here, but again, not as frequent of a thing that I do, but I do go through and have to do it frequently. So let's bring the Cadillac down. And I gotta be honest, on some earlier models, you would not have this feature be able to do. Cadillac happens to be one of the ones that you can actually go in and read. Obviously the newer cars, absolutely. The cars that are older than about 10 or 12 years old, you don't have that ability. For some reason, like, it's embedded in there, but it doesn't let you like read them all. So all right, so we're gonna go in here, and then we're gonna look for the OBD2 hookup, which is right here underneath the dash. Okay. That connected again. Okay, so we're gonna read IDs from vehicle. So it's gonna go through. So it read all the IDs. So we're gonna hit save, because the one we want is that right rear one. So hit save. Success. Okay, so quick and easy, right? All right, so that's saved. I disconnect this wire, so life is a little bit easier. All right, and then that's the old dead sensor. So okay, save success. So now we're going to go back to the main menu. Question mark. Back. So basically saved it. So I think we can hit no, and then we can go back out. Okay. Okay, here we go. So you keep hitting no, and that'll get you back out. Back down to this sensor. So that's failed. No to MX sensor. Okay, rear right is the one we're going to program. Copy by activation. So we're going to do that feature. We're going to get this sensor out of the box. And you have to do this before you actually put the sensor into the tire. Just one of those things. And I think it's as easy as taking that little valve and mounting that in there. So it goes pretty good. All right, copy by activation. So we're going to put this in there, in that little slot up there, and we're going to select yes. Okay, so hopefully you just saw me that I didn't do any commentary because I got lost for a second where I was in the menus. But so it's basically programming that sensor now. So the Cadillac will actually see that sensor once we put it in. And I apologize if this is a little choppy. Like I said, this isn't something I do all the time, but I probably do about one a month. But it's kind of good to kind of go through and go through the features. So now we know we got that one. So what we're going to do is we're going to go out, and then we are going to trigger that sensor after we put it in to mimic that it's actually on the car itself. So anyway, we're going to mount this in here, and you want to get it nice and soapy. So you want to get a good amount soap here, a little bit of soap here, and then some soap on the inside. So this all slides in nice and gingerly. And you guide it up through the hole. Then with your tire tool, put that in place, and then you basically pull up, and then you seat your little bead thing. Okay, and keep that attached because you're going to need that to turn so you got that bearing in the right spot. But basically, what you're doing now is you're lining that up. Okay, there we go. Snap, it's in place, and you're good to go. Alright, so we're going to hit trigger, and we're going to mimic like it's on the tire. Okay, so it registered, but it's basically saying that there's nothing there to test it, no tire pressure, and it's really not activated until you actually put tire pressure in here. So we're going to go ahead and mount that tire, and then we're going to be right back, and I'll show you what we do next. Okay, so now that we have the tire mounted and we got about 35 pounds of air in it, we're going to go back and trigger this tire, and it should come back pretty quickly. Okay, so it's registering it as a duplicate now, but once we have it on the car should recognize it as that right rear sensor, and we should be good to go. Anyway, thanks for watching. Hopefully that answers any questions that you might have about the Maxi TPMS sensor on how to program and install in a tire. But other than that, it's pretty cut and dry, straightforward. I thought it was pretty simple to do, even though I stumbled through some of the menus. And like I said, I don't do this every single day. I probably replace a sensor about every month or so. But it has been picking up and getting busier. So this has actually already paid for itself because I've done quite a few in the beginning when I was learning how to use the unit. But other than that, any questions, comments, leave below. And other than that, thanks for liking, subscribing, and be safe out there. Bye.